Hey Jared, so nice to
Yeah,
meet with you
yeah.
today.
Good to be with you as well.
How are you doing?
I've had better days. And that's just because of kind of where we're sitting at as far as negotiation goes. Our employees have done well as far as figuring out things,
Yeah,
for the some of the terms and stuff. But
yeah,
if we can't come to an agreement with this, it's going to be a deal breaker. I just don't think we'll be a good fit unless we can overcome this.
understandable. And I think we're on the same page that we want to make it work for you and ourselves as well and have a beneficial agreement. So tell me about your concerns and give me some insight into that and what you guys are thinking right now.
Yeah, so mainly we just think that, it's a company saying, lion gets the lion's share. We are going to be your guys' largest client within the mall, and we're going to bring in tons of business, and we just think it's fair that we have the ability to use the premises as we see fit.
Yeah, we just have some risks involved with that on
Mhm.
our side. We are tailoring the mall to give the consumers an experience, and your store definitely comes into play, but letting you sublease puts us in a tricky situation where you could sublease to something that wouldn't necessarily match the experience we're trying to make with the mall.
Mhm. Okay. Mainly it's what we're kind of looking for. We're looking for if we've got a product that's selling really well, we'd like to bring in like a complementary vendor. And what I mean like that, an example I could give you would be kind of like with Macy's, they have like Sephora's and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we've got a product that's selling really well, we want to be able to bring in a vendor that's going to complement that.
Okay. Have you done this in other stores?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, give me an idea of how that looks and maybe how many of them. Is it just like one
Yeah.
five?
Okay. Yeah. So generally, what we've done in the past is we like to use about a quarter of the store, so a fourth of the store, and we just kind of sublet that out to, like I said, like a Macy's Sephora example is perfect. Um, and that just allows us to get some name brand things in there, and it also helps bring more clients into discount. And we think that that would be fair because it's going to, and in the end, it's going to bring more clients into the mall.
Yeah.
And we only like to do one sublet at a time. Things can get really confusing if we have, two or three different sublets in there. And not to mention, it's near impossible to fit that many sublets in a quarter of a store.
Yeah.
So,
Ridiculous.
yeah.
Okay. Um, our only, my only concern
Mhm.
is the effect that maybe that could have on other tenants at the mall. So if you brought in, using Sephora as the example, Sephora and one of our tenants was already selling cosmetics, it could cannibalize the customers that they already have and um,
Right.
depreciate their profit. And that's something we might have. We might be able to work with that in that if you could get maybe like sign off of other tenants, smaller tenants, that might be something. Is that something you could do?
I don't really like the idea of having, um, business plans and the future of the company being held in other tenants' hands. I'm just not
Yeah.
really fond of that. But I'll tell you what, if you can give us a fourth of the premises to use as we see fit for other vendors, um, I will definitely keep you in the loop in the sense that you personally can sit down with me, and when we have chosen a vendor, you can be there with me to interview them and make sure they're going to be a good fit. And in doing so, you'll be able to see the products that they sell. And if that's something you think is going to be in direct competition with another satellite, that's
Yeah.
something that you and I can hash out.
Okay. And as far as that goes, what
Mhm.
kind of like, how much say would we have in it? As far as that goes, because that is a concern.
Right, right. Like I said, if you can give us that, because we're not looking to put satellites out of business, because
Yeah.
if we push those out, we understand if we push those guys out, that's less revenue in your pocket because you've got to make lease, and rent from them. We
Mhm.
understand that. And if the mall goes under, we go under, we get that.
Yeah.
So we're willing to play ball, we're willing to play fair. And like I said, if you can give us that fourth, if you guys say no and you have a valid reason for it, um, then it looks like the answer is probably going to be no as far as bringing that sublet on. But we don't have any intentions of putting satellites out of business, and with that, we don't have any intention of bringing on any direct competition products.
Okay. If we can have that agreement on not bringing any direct competition in,
Hmm.
then I think we can make that work.
Perfect.
One other thing, just to ensure, uh, just to minimize risk. As far as looking at those subleasing companies, do you think we could have a third party bank go over and run a ratio to assets for liabilities?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's fair.
That and we've kind of looked at it and we think if their assets to liabilities ratio is above 2, then there would be a viable addition. So if they can hit that from a third party bank, then we're more than happy. Is that something we can agree on?
I mean, I'm okay with doing that. The only thing I'm kind of failing to see is because they'd be subletting through us, um, we would be kind of the one taking on the risk. But I mean, it sounds like that would just kind of help us a little bit further understand the
Yeah,
risk on them. So,
I think it's more of like making sure you're in a good financial standpoint with regards to the sublease, and also where it like benefits the overall mall, and knowing that
yeah,
they can
I think that that's fair.
afford it and they're not gonna back out for whatever reason
Right.
at the last minute.
Yeah, no, I think that that's fair.
Okay, what other concerns and thoughts do you have?
You know, because the economy, I mean, the economy goes up and down.
Mhm.
We've got over 200 stores. We know what we're doing. We're a successful company. But in the unlikely event that discount doesn't perform in the way that we're hoping and projecting it to in this mall, we would like the ability to be able to sell our own lease. And the reason why we want to be able to sell it instead of having you guys do it is because the more parties that are involved, the longer the process. And
Yeah.
if we're losing money, we need to get out from under the thumb as quickly as possible.
Like I said before, our concern is that if you were to sell to, for instance, like a furniture company, the other tenants that we have acquired that kind of help benefit the type of store that you have, a discount clothing retail store, like a furniture store would throw that off and we wouldn't be getting the right mix of customers to the mall. But we do understand the risk that is associated for you guys, and you obviously don't want to be at a mall that you're not making profit. So is there some sort of way that we could create like a stipulation thing where you can sell, but it has to meet certain requirements?
Um, you know, I think really the biggest thing is that, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care who we sell to.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we want them all to be healthy and successful. But if we're getting hit hard financially, we just want to get out. You know, we just want to get out from under the thumb. So with that being said, if you guys can make it so if we do feel that way and we want to get out, that you guys will work with us and we can have that done within a week, I think that's something that we can agree on. It's just in my experience in the past, I've worked for the companies. If we've got to sell and get out of a situation and there's more parties involved, sometimes it can take up to a month, and that's millions of dollars lost on the company.
I think if you can supply a lot of your sales information to us so we can kind of keep track of where you guys are at and what your profits are at, and consumer information on you, then we can better be in tune with where you guys are at. And so if you need to sell, we can be like, okay, we understand you're at a financial distressing moment and we want to sell. Here are some companies that we've lined up that we think would be beneficial. Is that something?
So we're not going to give out, bottom line, we just can't give out company information like that. There's obviously certain things that we can give out that's released publicly as far as financial statements and stuff. But I think that it would be fair if we feel like we've got to sell. Again, if you want to be the one that's directly involved with it with me, we can do that. But if we can just sit down, find some other businesses that are looking for a lease, we can sit down and we can find those places as long as we can really just try and get them out and to get out from the mall if we need to. If we can do that in as quickly as possible, like a week, then I think that that's fair.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think because it just feels like a week is just so quick.
Right.
I don't know if that's substantial time to line up a good enough store to
Right,
come in
and
and replace.
if the decision to leave isn't just going to be something that happens in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So we will definitely give you, a couple of weeks notice, that, we're thinking about getting out. But once we have made that decision of yes, we are getting out, that's when we would like to be able to get out within a week if possible. And really, I just think that if we can just get cooperation on both sides, that both sides are looking,
Oh, yeah.
I think that it's possible. And with you being in there, that's going to make it so, it's not going to be in direct competition because you'll have a say in that as well.
Yeah. I, it's very risky on our part. Um, we don't believe you're going to be needing to sell. From the insights that we've gained in the area and the demographic, we think that your store is going to do great and bring in a lot of customers, which is why we came to you. But there is a significant amount of risk associated with something like that. Is Do you think you could give us maybe 2 months advance in you wanting to sell?
Um, I will give you as much time as I possibly can. I don't know if it's going to be because we may decide like, hey, we need to get out, or we're thinking about getting out, and that may be a month in advance. But like I said, we'll have both teams working on finding a replacement.
Yeah. It just makes us nervous because if we did have to do that, the finding a new one, company to come in and then negotiating out all the new terms of the lease that they're going to have, especially with, I think we did give you a really good lease and a lot of square feet for the amount of money you're paying, and we've really tried to make this a great deal. I'm just getting nervous is all. Um,
Right, and like I said, I will give you as much notice as I possibly can.
yeah,
But it may not be, it may not be 2 months, it may be a month.
yeah,
But like I said, those decisions aren't made generally overnight. There's something that do take a little bit of
yeah.
time. So as soon as I get whiff of the fact that this is what we're thinking, you'll be the first person I contact.
Yeah. And is there anything else you could do to help maybe lessen the risk and liability that poses to our company?
Right.